before we get into this, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. The channel is growing. If it's your first time here and you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you are a die-hard New York Giants fan. Let's get that out of the way. So hello and welcome to Big Dash Knows. Big Dash knows what? New York Giants football. Let's go. Today's video is a recap of day 5. And for the 5th day in a row, I'm excited about this New York Giants team. Now let's get into a couple of highlighted players or highlighted events that happened in training camp today. So obviously the rookie Trey Hawkins has been having a great, that's a little too much. He's been doing a lot of good things in practice so far, to the point where they actually gave him some reps with the one. So this is a 6th round draft pick out of Old Dominion, who has done some things to impress this coaching staff to the point where he ran with the ones. And not only did he run with the ones, when he did run with the ones, he kicked Adoree Jackson into the slot position. Now this is going to be a new look, not saying it's going to be a permanent look, but it's a new look just in case when you get into these games and that number 1 wide receiver wants to move into the slot. Dallas Cowboys. You have a guy like Adoree Jackson who had some history in the slot when he first got into the league and can play that position very well. Just another package, sub-package that you can add to what this defense is doing. And guess what? The rookie did pretty good today. Even being called up, running with the ones, he had some good coverage. Yes, a couple of people beat him, but he was right there as far as the coverage being tight. But it was just some great throws and some great catches by the receivers. So I'm going to just say this. Trey Hawkins, keep continuing to do what you want to do. Continue to do your thing, I should say. And keep impressing this team. You already have fans within the fan base that are rooting for you. And you're going from a guy that we thought might be, at the back of the depth chart to some guy that's going to actually contribute, possibly get some starts during the season. But you got to keep up the good work. You got to keep up the good work. So let's talk about another cornerback. The number 1 pick that we had this year, Deonte Banks, had a better showing today. Again, he still had his ups and downs throughout the practices so far, but today, and they decided to make it a highlight, he had a good pass breakup. I believe that was against Darius Slayton. So that was cool. I'm glad that he was able to bounce back and have a good practice. Again, with some guys, it might be a little bit quicker than others. Certain skill sets, certain rise scores might dictate what somebody can do before somebody else can do it. But I'm not giving up, just like a lot of people are not giving up on Deonte Banks just because he had a little tough going the first few practices. Again, shout out to Deonte Banks. A nice bounce back, strong practice for him. Now let's talk about the wide receivers. For the 5th day in a row, the New York Giants were moving the ball at will. Moving the ball at will. It's funny to see how quick the improvements are being seen on the field, how fast Daniel Jones is processing what's going on, how fast he's getting the ball out, and how comfortable he looks delivering the ball. Now, funny thing is, today they decided to give Darren Waller, a maintenance day. You take the day off. You've been doing a lot. You've been kicking a lot of butt in practice. Go ahead and take a break. Let's see what else was going on here. And before anybody even told me that, I didn't even notice that he wasn't on the field. It was so many highlighted plays coming across that I didn't even ask once, hey, where's Darren Waller? I just didn't do it because a lot of people were making plays in his absence. And the same guys that have been making plays all practice or all training camp long decided to continue to make plays today. Paris Campbell had some great catches. Darius Slayton was doing this thing. Cole Beasley had some nice catches as well. Colin Johnson, they gave Shep the day off as well, another maintenance day. But I want to highlight one person. And I did a video about a month ago on Jalen Hyatt talking about the chip on his shoulder and having something to prove and having that hunger. And you saw today, by the end of the practice, Jalen Hyatt was all the rave. All the rave. I'm looking at Giants Twitter. I'm seeing highlights of Jalen Hyatt doing a lot of things, beating a lot of people, catching a lot of passes. To the point where I decided to do another tweet to Coach Hyatt. That's Jalen's pops. Like, yo, continue to do whatever you're doing, whatever you're telling them. your son is out here showing out. That's me paraphrasing, but that's pretty much the love that I was given to Jalen Hyatt. Like, yo, we had an idea that he could be able to do the things that we saw today. We shouldn't be surprised that he's doing these things either, but still, when you see a rookie actually having a chance to prove himself and take advantage of his reps, Jalen Hyatt did just that today. Shout out to Jalen Hyatt. Now, I'm not going to jump out of the window and say anything crazy as far as comparing him to Odell Beckham. I've seen some crazy stuff today on Twitter. In the Twitterverse, in the Twitter streets, people are saying things like, you know, Jalen Hyatt to make us finally forget about Odell Beckham. Pump the brakes. Let this kid do what he needs to do without adding on any more pressure. You don't need to add on any more pressure. You know, what he did in college versus where he was picked, he has a chip on his shoulder enough. He does not have to be Odell Beckham Jr. Would you like him to be? Absolutely. But don't put that pressure on. Please fall back just a little bit. Fall back just a little bit. Now let's talk about the offensive line. So 2 days in a row, John Michael Schmitz is the starting center, running with the ones. Fantastic. I love it. 2 days in a row. Tomorrow is pad day. Happy pad day to everybody out there. Tomorrow, we finally get to see these guys in the trenches getting the dirty work done. Should be very, very exciting. If I'm not mistaken, it's going to be an afternoon practice. I don't understand that because it's probably going to be hot. It is Jersey. Maybe the weather swings a little bit. I don't know. But again, those afternoon practices tend to be a little bit hotter than the regular, 10 a.m. practices. So whoever decided to do that on the first day of pads, I don't know if this is the best decision. Please stay hydrated, players. But again, first day of pad day, we really get to see what the trenches is talking about. Now, I did see a lineup today where they had Andrew Thomas at left tackle, Joshua Ezeudu at left guard, Schmitz, or I'm going to call him Schmitty now. Schmitty now, he was at center. And then I saw at right guard, they had Ben Bredesen and then Evan Neal. Now, let me tell you something. A lot of people will argue that Mark Lewinsky, was, pretty much the most seasoned offensive lineman. Not the best, but the most seasoned. We picked him up at free agency. We gave him the most years on the deal. Penciled in as the starter. He had some struggles. Evan Neal went out, and then it quite wasn't the same chemistry. You saw him struggle a little bit in training camp, or I've noticed a couple plays where he struggled, picking up stunts. And this is not even with pads on yet. But I see today for the first time that Ben Bredesen got pushed into, that lineup. And I'm loving it. I'm dancing in my head. I'm dancing. In my mind, I'm dancing. I'm liking how this is looking. Now, the one thing about it is you will pencil, depending on what happens with the left guard position, whoever wins that left guard position, at the time I'm thinking of Ezeudu or Ben Bredesen, whoever the person that does not win that battle ends up being the swing person for inside the line. Whether it be guard, center, that's the swing person. Ezeudu can even play some tackle. So depending on who wins that competition, that's what I was thinking. Now seeing the option of Ben Bredesen at right guard, I'm thinking about you have a offensive line. All of these guys under the age of 24 can grow together. Or not under the age of 24. All these guys under the age of 25, I believe. And just imagine if this thing works out, how long these guys can grow together as a unit. And it's very, very exciting to hear. Now, again, we don't know what's going to happen. Again, this was just something that they tried out at the end of practice. But for me, if something like that works out, I'm excited for that because, again, that's a young unit growing together and becoming a steady nucleus when it comes to the offensive line, And again, that gets me very, very excited. Now, on the defensive side, again, I mentioned that Trey Hawkins ran with the ones along with Deonte Banks and Adoree Jackson in the slot. Today I saw that also at the second linebacker position next to Bobby Okereke, they decided to go with Micah McFadden to start off the practices and work that rotation in as well. And then I saw at the safety spot, Jason Pinnock. Why not? Jason Pinnock got the start for the second day with the first teams. Of course, when you make a play like you did the previous practice, the one-handed interception, even though the play might have been over, you got to think about it, man. And again, I said it in the tweet. I said if Belton was the guy that made that interception, the discussion about who's going to be the second safety will be over if Belton made that catch. It wasn't Belton, it's Pinnock. and we get to see what's going to happen with that. But again, if you keep making plays like that in situations like that, it's going to be a very, very tough competition, at that safety spot between both Belton and Pinnock. They also put in some Bobby McCain, but Bobby McCain also plays some nickel corner today as well, so that's exciting too. And I have some friends that are Washington Commander fans. I asked them about Bobby McCain, and what they said, do not play him at safety. He is good as a nickel, but do not play him at safety. It's some other people in the Giants community that will pretty much have that same sentiment on Bobby McCain. But for me, I'm like, trial and error. We really don't know who's the safety going to be. If Bobby McCain can bring that type of experience, knowledge to this team, why not put him at safety? Obviously, if he's stronger at the nickel spot, then of course you put him at the nickel spot in certain packages, especially if it's wide receiver heavy. So again, Wink is experimenting with the lineups. He's trying to figure out the best fit. Again, I'm just so excited about this. And again, tomorrow is pad day, and I know that Wink Martindale is up right now thinking about how can he destroy what Mike Kafka is trying to do. Because that's what I would be doing, especially after these last 5 practices where Daniel Jones is looking like, I don't even want to say it because I don't want to jinx the situation. But again, this was a really good practice. By all accounts, there was no real issues. Defense made some plays. Nick McLeod got a nice interception today. The offense made some plays. Paris Campbell is looking like that special kind of guy to work the intermediate and some of the deeper routes as well. And he got off today too, pause. But yeah, man, I'm loving all of this good news. I hope we can keep this momentum going in the right direction. Tomorrow is pads day. I pray that everybody stays healthy. We did get some injury news with J.C. Hausenauer with the torn triceps. He's done for the year. Backup center, third string center possibly, but we lose him for the season most likely. Like I said, torn triceps. I'm assuming he's going to be out for the year. That's if he was even going to make the team. But, you hate to hear about injuries. For the most part, we've been pretty healthy throughout, especially with all of the news from all these other teams, how they're losing players, left and right. I pray that the team stays healthy. They're able to stay, for the most part, injury-free, from now going forward. And that's all we can hope for. Hopefully the football gods take care of us, because I can't wait for this season to begin. But that's going to be my recap of training camp day 5. Tomorrow is pad day. Afternoon practice. I'm excited for that. So I'm going to thank you guys for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows Big Blue Nation. You can tell I'm excited, man. Let's go.